This week, harsh weather has pushed several schools to close Monday, but despite the conditions, the University of Waterloo continued to run. And marijuana could be a gateway to boosting the economy, but how can legalizing it be beneficial to the government?
The government will collect HST on that, and that will go as part of the general revenues.
Plus, the selfie stick is becoming a popular trend in Canada, but its use has caused controversy in some parts of the world.
Hi, I'm Nora Mazeros.
And I'm Devin Flynn. This is Spoke TV, your source for local news, produced by the second-year broadcast journalism program at Conestoga College.
The museum in Kitchener has been busy unwrapping Egypt. This coming year, it may be getting less money from the Arts and Culture Sustainability Fund. Kate Leahy explores what it takes to bring global artifacts to the community.
Most museums receive 50, 60, 80, 100% of funding, so our model is somewhat backwards.
For the last 5 years, the City of Kitchener has given the museum $120,000. But next year it isn't looking so good. There had been suggestions for about $10,000 to $20,000 less. The museum receives funds from the Arts and Culture Sustainability Fund. The money is divided up between 3 pillars, but the museum receives the most amount of money so that they can give the community things like this. The museum has a yearly budget of just over $1 million. Their generated revenue is about 72 to 75%. The other 22% is what they get from the city, and this funding is what helps keep the bills paid, like the heat and hydro for the year. There had been suggestions for about $10,000 to $20,000 less. The museum CEO, David Marskell, explains how the decrease in funds would affect the museum.
We have to cut back on what we do. We've continually to cut back on our staffing, so it's not a good thing.
To prepare for next year, they plan to educate the councillors more on how the museum operates and how the funding helps to sustain them. The City of Kitchener-Waterloo has gotten a consultant to look into the funding. For Spoke TV, I'm Kate Leahy.
Thanks, Kate. The wheels are turning on thoughts of a roundabout being implemented at the Homer, Watson, and Ottawa intersection. Here's Lauren Weiler with more.
Not one, not two, but a 3-lane roundabout will be installed on the most dangerous intersection in Waterloo region. Homer, Watson, and Ottawa Street will hopefully be reducing collisions with this roundabout, as well as keeping the environment a little more clean. One of the reasons why roundabouts have become more common in the region is because it has reduced the amount of collisions, as well as decreased the amount of gridlock that intersections have caused. Wayne Wetlaufer, councillor of the region of Waterloo, describes why these roundabouts are beneficial to the community.
Yeah, roundabouts are very good, really. They reduce gridlock, number one. They're good for the environment compared to stop signs or stoplights because idling is not beneficial to the environment.
From 2012 to 2013, there's been a decrease of collisions involving pedestrians. This means that roundabouts are sure to take a turn for the better.
For pedestrians, crossing a 3-lane roundabout may sound terrifying, but some of the ways to stay safe, including being aware of all the surroundings around you. Olaf Heinzel, Public Affairs Coordinator at the Waterloo Regional Police, explains tips on how pedestrians can stay safe when crossing roundabouts.
It's important for pedestrians and drivers to communicate effectively, to make sure that they know who's going and what they're doing.
The roundabout is set to be installed by 2016, as well as other new installments like the electronic highway signs on Highway 7 and 8 and the possibility of reducing the residential speed limit. For Spoke TV, I'm Lauren Weiler.
Thanks, Lauren. Students in the Waterloo region may soon be facing a housing crisis. The University of Waterloo launched a new research project called Generation City, and it found housing to be the biggest challenge for local students.
The Faculty of Environment says it's not a lack of available space causing a challenge to students. The problem is increasing rental fees. The development of condo-style residences and higher-end low-rise units mean more money coming out of students' pockets. This may affect Waterloo's ability to attract and retain young workers. The study says that an inability to keep graduating students in the city could mean long commutes for workers to the region from affordable markets.
The Waterloo region welcomed a hefty snowfall on February 2nd, forcing school closures that extended to all but one university. Marian De Palma visits the disgruntled students at the University of Waterloo to find out their reactions.
Winter is among us, which means traveling gets harsh and your day-to-day activities may be pushed aside. canceled class may be a little more common for high school students in the winter, but this month many college and university students caught a break and received a snow day of their own. On February 2nd, schools included the University of Toronto, Sheridan and Conestoga College, and both Laurier and Guelph University. Some students, however, couldn't catch a break. Despite harsh weather conditions, the University of Waterloo kept its doors open and classes running. Nick Manning, Director of Media Relations at the University of Waterloo, tells us what determines a school closure.
Well, the provost here is the ultimate decision maker on whether the school closes in severe weather conditions, but he takes advice from a number of people, including police services and the ground staff, to determine whether the conditions on campus and getting to campus would be safe enough for people to come.
Students created a petition to change weather inclement policies. The petition already has over 4,000 supporters.
Vishal Panchi, a cashier with International News operated by the Federation of Students at the university, was at school that day and says students want change.
Yeah, a lot of people were complaining about how this is the only school that's open and they shouldn't have done that.
Despite the outreach of students, it is still unknown whether or not the school will make any changes to what they consider snow day worthy. For Spoke TV, I'm Marian De Palma.
Thanks, Marion. The YWCA is known for its legacy of helping women and children. The Girls Space program is continuing to do so. For the past 2 years, the Girls Space program at the YWCA has helped mold girls in the community into the best people they can be. Girls Space is a drop-in program free to girls in grades 6 to 9, where they learn important life skills like violence prevention, leadership, and self-esteem. We're not the only community that offers this amazing program. The YWCA has implemented it cross-country so girls all over Canada have a better chance.
Nearly 100 years since Canada has criminalized marijuana, things may be looking up for recreational and medicinal cannabis smokers. Aaron Anderson hits the Greater Toronto Area to find out what legalization efforts in the States could mean for the future of Canadians.
Canada criminalized marijuana in the Opium and Drug Act of 1923, and until recently, the prospect of referendum seemed unlikely. But in the last few years, it seems more and more Canadians are beginning to sing a different tune, and are realizing that marijuana isn't necessarily a gateway drug like their parents had told them, but is more likely to be the gateway to a booming economic industry. The recent legalization in certain U.S. states has become a multi-million-dollar industry that has swayed many over to the pro-pot movement. David Suktio, a marketing professor for Conestoga College, explains how legalizing and taxing a substance like marijuana can benefit the economy.
So the government will collect HST on that, and that will go as part of the general revenues. In addition, if it's legalized, you'll have companies employing people, and the companies will be paying CPP and EI on behalf of these individuals, so that will go towards the economy as well.
Although the revenue from sales alone would be enough to ease some financial stress, the marijuana industry is more than just profiting from the sales of the psychedelic substance. Legalization offers cities the potential to open other marijuana-friendly businesses, including some that Canada already has right now. The Hotbox Cafe is Eastern Canada's first marijuana cafe, located in the heart of Kensington Market in Toronto. Abby Roach has owned and operated the cafe for almost 15 years.
You can dab, you can toke, but it's all sort of at your own risk. We just provide a nice, comfortable, fun environment for you to chill out, blaze, have a good time.
The rules are you have to be 18 years or older and must supply your own marijuana. The cafe has tables, TVs, board games, and a pool table for customers, and is combined with a storefront that specializes in smoking devices and paraphernalia. So how does a business like this operate while marijuana is still very much illegal in Canada?
Legally, what we're doing is illegal. It's aiding and abetting possession. But there's never been a fight, there's never been a stabbing, there's never been gunshots go off in the place. It's usually pretty calm, pretty quiet. We're good with the police in our neighborhood, and we've been here for so long that at this point, shutting us down would just be kind of silly.
The cafe's operations are a somewhat legal gray area with local authorities, because it also creates a safe space for people to visit and use marijuana, thus preventing the use of the drug in public parks and outside in the community. Businesses like Abby's could open up all over Canada if recreational marijuana were legalized, which many have been hoping for since the legalization of medical marijuana almost 15 years ago. Waterloo resident Zach Howell suffers from osteoarthritis of the knees, which causes pain and disability in the knee joint. When he was first diagnosed 6 years ago, he was put on a painkiller regimen that had a laundry list of side effects.
Headaches, dizziness, nausea, a lot of common side effects.
After a great deal of trial and error, Zach started using marijuana.
My mom pointed it out, that she realized that I was walking better. I wasn't walking with a limp. And yeah, that's pretty much when we realized that it actually worked for me.
Although medicinal marijuana helps people like Zach, some members of the cannabis community feel that the medicinal movement deters everyone else's rights.
The medical marijuana movement has screwed up everything for everybody else's freedom, because now the government's like, oh, well, we gave freedom to people that are dying of cancer and AIDS, so forget about everybody else. But marijuana legalization isn't about medication or sickness. It's about my personal choice and my personal freedom to be able to do what I want with my body.
The marijuana topic has also been controversial due to the upcoming federal election. Justin Trudeau's pro-legalization campaign for the Liberal Party originally created a lot of hope for the cannabis community.
What I would ask Justin Trudeau is, are you serious? Like, do you really want to legalize marijuana? Do you really want the cannabis community's support? Or are you just saying this to get quick votes?
The cannabis community may not be convinced, but many are hopeful that 2015 will put an end to over a century of prohibition. For Spoke TV, I'm Erin Anderson.
Thanks, Erin. A new hotel being built in the Cambridge area is facing scrutiny over height restrictions. Here's Christina Zvanovic with more.
Reaching new heights may be a tricky task for the hotel condo proposal along the riverfront in downtown Galt. During a public meeting on Monday, January 26th, this 12-story building proposal was scrutinized on height, views, traffic, and building materials.
Currently, the permitted height is 21 meters, while the proposed height would be 42 meters at the deck line of the roof and 54 meters at the top of the roof.
The proposed hotel, if built, would work together in collaboration with the Cambridge Mill restaurant and banquet facility, which hosts hundreds of events. The hotel capacity would have 90 suites and 114 condominium units, along with 316 parking spaces. Cambridge is valued in southwestern Ontario for the fact that it treasures its heritage. Cambridge's Old City Hall is a building that's still standing today, and they also have an accessible fire museum within the Civic Square. Cambridge Mayor Doug Craig shares what areas are included in the city's height restrictions.
We have height restrictions throughout most of the old historic area of downtown Cambridge, which is the former Galt area. And that particular building is just on the edge of that height restriction. It's in it, and I understand that there is a request that the height restriction be removed from that particular building.
With an 11-story tower being built next door, planner and project manager at Pearl Hospitality, formerly known as Landmark Group, states that they would end up at a lower height than the 11-story tower because of their existing lower elevation. Construction is expected to start in 2017 and would take about a year to complete. For Spoke TV, I'm Christina Zvanovic.
For years, YouTube has allowed users to upload homemade and amateur content. Now, the popular video hosting site is enticing users with the potential of cashing in. Candice Agunde reports on how anyone can earn big bucks.
Daniel Shim and Shane Lewis, two very different people, but with a very interesting similarity. Curious? Well, let's get to that later. First, let's talk about something else that's very big in our world today: YouTube. Many people know about YouTube. You watch videos here, share it with your friends, maybe even upload a video yourself. On YouTube, videos have the potential to hit millions and millions of views, and if you're lucky, you can join the ranks of the YouTubers who have thousands of subscribers. And the best part? You get paid. But first, you have to become a YouTube partner. Before 2012, only YouTube channels with thousands of subscribers would be invited to be a partner. But many people don't know that since then, anyone can sign up.
Basically anybody who submits videos to YouTube, which people could always do, could earn some money in doing that. So YouTube has for a long time been about making revenue for YouTube and now Google, but now people who contribute videos can do that as well.
Who needs to study? With my genius.
So my name is Shane Lewis. I live in Cambridge, Ontario, and I produce a show called Re-Res. And basically the show is just about video games and kind of oddities and rarities and stuff like that. I pretty much try to talk about topics that people don't know about, or things that are kind of rare or obscure. So people know about this thing called the Nintendo Power Glove, which is this glove you wear and you can control your video games. And everybody knows about the Nintendo Power Glove, but few people know about the PlayStation Power Glove, which was released years later and has motion control technology in it, which predates the Wii. And I've never seen anyone online make a video of it, and we have one there. I have 29,000 subscribers at this point. Per month I get 350,000 views a month now. It's been growing consistently every month. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I guess by week I'm probably making maybe 90,000 views a week, I guess.
Daniel Shim is also a YouTube personality, and he makes over $100,000 a year.
So I consider myself as a digital entertainer. I use the internet and all the tools associated with the internet to entertain people and to reach out to people. I currently have 2 YouTube channels, and combined together I have over 400,000 subscribers and 50 million views, so it's not bad. But I do make comedic style videos, vlog style, sketches, pranks, interview style, so I do a wide range of things. So you get money through the ad impressions. Whenever you watch a YouTube video and you see ads on the videos, like someone's making money somehow through that way. You get more money based on how many views you get. And when you do produce new content, that brings a lot of benefits to itself. Not only views, but it increases like your viewership base and such. And they actually invited me to be a YouTube partner in 2008. And that's when I actually first hit university. So that's when I started to actually get more deeply involved with YouTube as a career aspect.
This is my full-time job. I think that the perception is it's really easy, and it's not. I've worked lots of media jobs before. This is by far the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. It can take from anywhere from 1 hour to 24 hours to get a proper project working. So you can lose sleep, you can basically, you're in your house if you're shooting some of these things, and you can literally be in your house working 24/7 and not think about it because you're at home. If you don't know how to edit video properly, you're not going to be really successful at YouTube. If you don't know how to use the camera properly, you're not really going to be successful at YouTube. If you can't record your voice properly, which I think is the most important thing, you will not get any viewership on YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about Maniac Mansion, an NES game that was released back in the 80s that basically was just a remake of an original PC game that came out from LucasArts. This game was one of the few games ever to be turned into a television show. I think what you need to be successful at being on YouTube is you really need to have kind of just a drive to want to make videos. I've got a rule for myself. If I don't like the video that I'm making, if I wouldn't sit there and watch it myself, I'm not going to make it.
For Spoke TV, I'm Candice Agunde.
Thanks, Candice. That's news. With a look at Spoke TV sports and entertainment, here's Leah Johansson.
After posting a $1.5 million deficit for 2013, the City of Kitchener is asking you for your opinion of the Center in the Square.
An online survey was created to get public input on the future of the Center in the Square. City officials say it will give them a better understanding of how locals use and value the center. The survey can be accessed from now until the 18th on the City of Kitchener website. Visit the online survey and you'll find questions like, when was the last time you attended a performance at Center in the Square? And who should the Center in the Square target with its programming? This also coming after last August when the city recreated their mission statement.
Canadians gathered this month to watch and celebrate the Super Bowl, and many were willing to spend a little more during the celebration. Most of that money will go to food and drinks, with the average Canadian spending $26 on alcohol and $25 on food. Spoke TV's Paula Sierra has more on how Canadians got into the Super Bowl 49.
The winning team, the New England Patriots, might have scored big on Super Bowl night, but so did local bars and restaurants. Many Waterloo region residents met up in local businesses to cheer up for their team and spend big. According to a survey done by Retail Me Not, a digital offers destination that helps consumers save money, an average Canadian watching the big game will spend $61 on festivities. Owner of Morris Pub, Steve Campbell, says that he had to call extra staff to meet the demand for food. Nachos and chicken wings are favorite dishes during the Super Bowl.
And we put out a lot of chicken wings, probably about, right now we're looking at doing about 400 wings every 15 minutes or so, and that'll last from about 4 o'clock until about 6:30. So it's good for business.
Owner of Shoeless Joe's, Larry Setlick, says that his bar motto for this evening is either go big or go home.
It's totally sold out. We took reservations. We pre-sold a lot of tickets. What we found in the past is we get lineups out the door. So especially with the weather today being bad, we don't want to go out in the line and say, you know what, we're full now. And big groups this way can plan their day and be here on time. So it works out much better this way if we pre-sell the tickets.
114 million viewers watched the game this year, becoming the most watched Super Bowl in history. For Spoke TV, I'm Paula Sierra.
New Year's resolutions are hard to choose and even harder to maintain. Spoke TV's Aaron Anderson tells us how some of the most popular resolutions are difficult to keep this time of year.
It's a month into the new year, and many Canadians started off 2015 by making a resolution that statistically they've probably already given up on. Statistics from the University of Scranton show that between 30 and 35% of New Year's resolutions fail by February.
Twitter Canada released a top 10 resolution list earlier this year, stating that 2 of the top things Canadians are striving for are to work out and lose weight.
Jason Dropper, co-owner and personal trainer of Peak Fitness, explains why people have a difficult time sticking to their weight loss resolution.
I think a lot of people make unrealistic goals to start with. That's part of the big challenge, I guess, sort of when you're starting something. There's sort of this round New Year's resolutions, some people put these unrealistic expectations of, maybe I want to lose 50 pounds, right? And I think a lot of it comes down to people need to make more of like a lifestyle change.
Although achieving a healthy lifestyle is at the top of everyone's list, it's one of the most difficult ones to commit to. Business owner and personal trainer Natalie Veras explains ways to try and stick to your health regimen during the winter season.
I usually run outside, and I do recommend people either walking or running outdoors and trying something new like snowshoeing, or the other day I tried cross-country skiing for the first time and I loved it.
Regardless of whether you've given up on your resolution or are just beginning to consider a healthier regimen, Jason Droppert says that obtaining an active lifestyle now can benefit you in the future. For Spoke TV, I'm Aaron Anderson.
A popular tech trend has some reaching new heights in their self-portraits and is taking selfies to a new level. Spoke TV's Candice Agunde tells us more about the selfie stick.
Since November, the selfie stick has been experiencing over a 3,000% increase in sales. And while the original product was a simple monopod, newer versions are much more high-tech.
There are a few that are, controlled by a Bluetooth, and they have like a little button on it, and you can just hit the button on the selfie stick, and it takes the picture from your camera, which helps a lot too.
In 2014, selfies were one of the hottest trends. This year, that trend has been extended. Fans of the selfie stick say that it doesn't just help you take a picture, but it helps users achieve unique angles, whether you're in a group or alone. Jillian Francis owns a selfie stick, and she's surprised that more people don't.
Selfie sticks are convenient. They're great for pictures, especially if you got to take a picture yourself.
Some people, however, are not quite on board the selfie stick train.
I mean, I feel like it's just really dumb. Why would you need a stick to basically take a selfie?
Just grab a broomstick, connect your phone to it, and there you go, you got a stick.
Recently, the selfie stick is being banned in museums around the U.S. Officials say they compromise the safety of their visitors and also the artwork. And in Korea, users are being charged a fine if their Bluetooth selfie sticks are unregistered, since it might interfere with other radio frequencies. But whether you're a fan or an anti-fan, for now, selfie sticks are here to stay. For Spoke TV, I'm Candice Agunde.
Thanks for tuning in.
For more Spoke TV, be sure to check us out online at spoketv.ca or give us a follow on Twitter.